All right, so we're not too far off the end goal now, and at this stage in production, I would probably already take this over into Unreal to try and see how it looks in context and start to make more guided decisions based on feedback from my colleagues and my own impressions on how this is fitting together in the scene. But in the interests of the tutorial series, we're just going to treat this as a slightly more linear process, and we're going to go through and add the last remaining kind of features to our tooling, and then we're going to go and take it into Unreal. So we've got some sort of like fracturing happening at the footprint level. That was what we worked on previously, where we went and first we split the geometry. If we go ahead and it might be a little bit hard to see, so I'm just going to put down a quick smooth once more. And if we do this, you can see that we are getting these kinds of cracks horizontally there, starting to appear, and then after that we went and added in these vertical cracks, but these were all just at the footprint level, so you can almost think of this as like the sort of bedrock faults if you want. But what about the kind of cracking and erosion that happens at the kind of rock level? You know, these individual boulders are likely to split and break apart as well. Well, fortunately, the Voronoi fracture can handle 3D objects as well as 2D planes, and if we were to go ahead and put in a Voronoi fracture immediately, we could put in a little scatter, maybe just say let's scatter 2 points, then we're going to put these into the fracture. We're going to see that we are going to get some cutting happening, but it's not really going to give us any kind of sensible results. It's also going to take a really long time. So just like before, where we were dealing with our kind of compile blocks, we're going to have a little think about how we can use compile blocks and iterate over each of these boulders individually once more. So we're going to say for each connected piece once more. This is going to give us those same 2,000 and so different steps that we can run over. And just like before, to save some time, we're going to put this inside of a compile block. We're going to say yes to multi-thread when compiled. And if you haven't already, that would be a really good time to save your scene. So I'm going to go ahead and save my scene. Also with Control S there. And we can now see that we're currently looping over all of the boulders and doing absolutely nothing. So instead of doing nothing, I'm going to go ahead and place this scatter and Voronoi fracture into the loop. I'm going to set the mode to manual before this runs, and then once I've hooked it all up, we can go back to on mouse update, mouse up. You can see it's running over that very, very quickly as we would want it to. We don't see any different results immediately. So how are we going to actually make sure that these cracks are coming through and being visually apparent? Well, there's a few options, and the one I'm going to go for right now is maybe I'm going to try out exploded view if this runs in a compile block. I think it does. So I'm going to go and plug this in. So I think 1 is going to be a bit extreme. Yeah, a bit too extreme. So we're going to set this to 0.1. And that is great. So exploded view has just, from the centroid of each object, it's pushed things apart slightly. We can see we're now getting these nice additional kind of cuts going through some of the rocks, or well, all of the rocks actually, at sort of random positions. And if we wanted more of these, we could of course increase the count to, say, 7. And we're going to get way more of this breakup appearing. Now, I think this is starting to get to be way too much, and also we're starting to see that same old Voronoi character starting to appear. So to avoid this, I think I'm going to stick to a lower number of fractures, and then we're going to have to reprocess the end result somewhat, because right now the cuts are looking a bit too clean. You could of course go a lot further with this if you wanted to and introduce some noise like we did previously to bias the cuts to be vertical or horizontal, and I probably would recommend that you do that if you want to have more control over the outcome. But I'm just kind of going to be rolling with this, I think, for the time being,